Om. 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 योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Om Om. Now we are going more deeper way into Yoga Sutras, understanding all philosophies, all darshana, all relative terms and condition, why the sutras are so powerful and why this Maharshi Patanjali Yoga Darshan is one of the Shatha Darshan. Hindu Sanatan philosophy, there are 6 different paths. There will be one path that is for Yoga Darshana, philosophy or realization through path of yoga. So when you are putting any general path for enlightenment, there will be lots of patients are going to become from different other darshana, other path also. So you need to satisfy your school of thoughts. Why your path is also as equivalent as other path. All these formulas, all these sutras has to be validated. So this all validation is part of 4th sutra, 4th chapter is Kaivalya Pada. So ultimate samadhi, ultimate realizations and their formulas and their general terminology, architecture, everything is given in this chapter 4. All that superpower or all that experiences, Vibhuti Pada, that we have realized, we have seen, or we have experienced by this same human body. Why this is possible? You need to give answer, scientific answer, qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis from all 360-degree views. Otherwise, it's look like these are all magic, this is all fake. You need to validate. That is why Maharshi has added this chapter number 4. This philosophy or darshana is giving equal validation of 3 entities: Purusha, Prakriti, and Sanyoga. Drashta, Drashya, and Sanyoga. So you need to validate why these 3 entities are eternal, Sanatana, Anadi. Because other philosophy, they are thinking they are like a Dvaita or Advaitavad, different types of darshana. But this is also one path, so you also need to validate all three entities. When you are going Advaitavad, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, only one is there and all others are just manifestation of that one entity. So that Advaitavad is already been validated by Acharya Shankara and other all philosophical or all Gnanis. So now Maharshi is also validating his darshana by validating all these three things. So that is what we are experiences or we are going to learn. There will be three: Triputi, Drashta, Drashya, and Sanyoga. Dhyata, Dhyeya, Dhyana. Sadhaka, Sadhya, Sadhana. All these three things will be there eternally. And this is what Maharshi is trying to explain in this chapter number 4. So let's move ahead. We have learned till chapter this 4.11 Hetu, Phala, Ashraya and Alambanaihi. These four fundamental faculties is always be there to create this all karmas, create this whole universe. That you are getting birth, you are doing some actions, then you are getting that results, and then after results you will have that rag or a dvesha, and then you will have sanskara, and then according to sanskara you will have some intention, then you will have deeper intention, and then out of deeper intention you will going to do another karma. So this whole life and death circle, there are only four fundamental elements. So this is what Maharshi is explaining here. You are creating whole huge house, so you need some pillar, you need some support. So these are four fundamental pillars of your karma, of your life: hetu, phala, ashraya, alambana. First will be your hetu, your cause of your birth or of your suffering or your death. So first thing, you will have some fundamental cause. Then when you have this cause, then you will have some effect, you will have some result according to your cause. And this cause and effect cannot be done in just thin air. You need some supporting system, ashraya, recipient. And then you need some supporting tools. So if I want to move from one point to another point, I need some support system, I need some vehicle. I need auto rickshaw or bicycle or car or plane, all different types of tools I require that are called alambana, support. But this all support, all this cause and effect, everything requires some foundation also. Otherwise you need some road, you need some foundation support, then and then your car is going to be moved. You need some supporting aviation faculty, then and then this your plane is going to run. So all four fundamental faculties will be required for live in this universe. So these are fundamental, universal truth, universal faculty. This we need to understand very greater way, and that we already understand in previous sessions. हेतु फल आश्रय लंबनैः संगृहीतत्वा येषाम भावे तद्भावः. Once you will not have that vasana, once you will not have that hetu, then you will not have that cause, then you will not require any ashraya and you will not require any support. And if you have vasana, then all this faculty will be there. This is what Maharshi is explaining in this Sutra 4.11. अतीतानागतं स्वरूप तोस्त्यद्वभेदार्थर्माणाम् अतीतानागतं स्वरूपतोऽस्त्यद्वभेदार्थर्माणाम् अतीत अनागतं स्वरूपतः अस्ति अद्वभेदात् धर्माणाम्. This all dharmas, all properties is going to be changed, is going to be differentiated. How this is going to be differentiated? According to atita, anagata. Either that dharma or property, it will be different in past and it will be different in future. And why this is going to be different? When there will be only one dharmi, there will be only one cause. Why there are different effect I am seeing? Everyone has same chitta, everyone are made of Panch Mahabhut, everyone is dharmi, then why their dharmas, their properties are different? So Maharshi is saying these are some variables you also need to make sure. And what are these variables? Time frame. Either they have done some action in past or either they are going to do that action in future. Their way of doing things is also different. Path, dharmanam are all different for different types of people, different types of chitta. Why? Because they have something done in past, they maybe do something different in future, and what is there will be, their path is going to be different. But at the same time, that dharmi, that is the main cause of everything, is also going to be there. It's always nityam, eternal. But their dharmanam, their property, their effect will going to be different according to this time frame or according to their way of dealing with external things. And how this effect are going to be differentiated, what are different dharmas we can able to see in manifested form or in unmanifested form, that is te vyakta sukshma gunatmana. They are either manifest, very sthul, manifested form, or they are not in manifested, they are in very subtle environment. Some things that we can see on ground, but something is beyond ground layer. They are not manifested, but is in very subtle form. But that are also properties and is going to be manifested in future for sure. Parinam ekatvad vastu tattvam. And this manifestation, parinam, is always one. Parinam ekatvad vastu tattvam. When I am saying this object are different, and their material is also different. We can say this is everything is manifestation of Trigunatmak Prakriti. This building is made up of different elements. There will be some bricks, there are some cement, some color, some other things. There are too many different things, and then out of this something is made. Parinam ekatvat, but that final result is one. That even there are multiple 5 different elements, there are 3 guna, sattva, rajtam, then these human beings that we are seeing as a result, as a effect is also same. Different types of object that we are seeing, but when we are seeing that result as a object is also same. So parinama ekatvat, because their way of doing interaction is same, that we can say that cause is also same. Parinama ekatvat vastu tattvam. Vastu samye chitta bheda tayor vibhaktah panthaha. Now this different effect, different chittas that is made out of same element, Panch Mahabhut or Trigunatmak Prakriti, Vastu Samye, Chitta Bhedat, when their fundamental elements are same, but this chitta is different because every chitta that we have seen, there are 4 fundamental elements. They have different vasanas, different intention, and different birth and death. Their life is going to be different. So even though there will be main fundamental elements or all fundamental elements are same for each and every chitta, they are working differently. So here Maharshi is only focusing on these 3 things or 2 things, subject and object. Subject is right now our chittam, and then object, what we want to focus on. When we said, okay, I want to do samadhi, I want to do sanyama, I want to do meditation, then you require some object, external object. So external object, Maharshi is saying as vastu, padartha, external object. All this external object or that is part of Prakriti, they are made up of fundamental element vastu samya, even though these are all same, but chitta has their different path manifestation. That is why this whole universe looks like very different. Everyone will look like very different, because my mind, my chitta, my intention, my desire, my way of working is very different than someone else's chitta. So even though chitta is same, like their fundamental elements of chitta is same, but because of this sanskara, because of this life and death experiences, they are manifesting effect are going to be different. So even though we are all same, and that at the same time we are also different. न चैकचित्त तत्रं वस्तु तद प्रमाणकं तदा किं स्यात्. So see, these are all questions Maharshi is putting when they are doing this type of debates, and then you need to win this debate of with intelligent person or different school of thought, and you need to put your way of approaching this truth. So it's look like their way is different or managing different, but at the end every way is also same. But right now when we are focusing or with traveling with this type of philosophy or darshana, we also has to go and understand what Maharshi is trying to say, and saying the other philosophy, Advaitavad, Purushavad, Nyaya Darshan, there are so many other school of thought or darshana. So Maharshi has to validate these all things. So people are going to ask questions. Now Maharshi's what try to say is Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. That philosophy, Maharshi is saying Vastu is also there. Means Prakriti is also there. Prakriti is also Satyam. So when you are saying that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, Maharshi is saying Jagat is also Satyam. So why this Jagat is also Satyam? Maharshi is giving some explanation. Advaitavad, Advaita philosophy, what they are trying to say, every vastu, every external things is manifestation of my own mind. Same when we are going for sleeping or dreaming state, we are creating our own world in sapnavastha. At same way, when we are in Jagrut way, we are also manifesting this our own world. So everything is creation, manifestation of a single expression of mind. That is what Advaitvad is saying. So Maharshi is giving some argument that, okay, when there will be some observer, then and then something will be there. Because you are saying that cause is always observer, drashta. If there will be drashta, then and then there will be drishyam. When there will be subject, then and then it will be object. When there will be mind, then and then it will be some external things. So observer and observed. So Maharshi is saying, if there will be no observer, then what is going to be for that observed object? Na cha ekachitta tantram vastu tad pramanakam tada kim syat, tada kim syat. That time what is going to happen? When some manifestation form, when I'm saying if I will be there, then and then they has to be there. I am a creator of external world. So say, okay, I am closing my mind, I am closing my eyes, my chittam is going somewhere else. What is going to happen with this, all this world? Another argument he is putting, tad uparaga pishatvat chittasya vastu gyata gyatam. Now what is saying that for mind or for chittam, if it has to observe something, mind or chitta also cannot observe directly, because chittam is also part of prakriti, is also part of jada prakriti. It also don't have consciousness. When my buddhi, my consciousness, my intellect is merged with this chittam, then and then there will be jnanam, then and then there will be knowledge. Even my chittam is there, I need my intellect, I need my consciousness. If there is a chit, my mind, my consciousness is somewhere else, then I cannot observe this, I cannot experience this. So there will be another faculty, is called Jiva Atma, consciousness, individual consciousness. It is when merged with this chittam, then and then you can able to experience. When this Jivatma is somewhere else, Even though there will be your pancha gnanendriya, cells, organ, your chittam, you cannot experience. What will happen that time with that object? Another argument. Sada jnataschitavrittayastat prabhoho purushasya parinamitvat. So everything that has been observed by this chittam, there will be another faculty that is called individual consciousness or jivatma that is also observing this observer. And this observer, jivatma or individual self or individual intellect is always gnata. It's always going to understand. If sometime this chitta is there, sometime chittam is not there, because chitta is also changing its property. When chitta is in vimudha state, that time also individual self is observing that chittam, that okay, you are went to sleep, you become vimudha. When you are in vikshipta or akshipta state, you have seen something, then you went away, you are again come, and then you experience that object again. There will be some gaps. That gaps, experience and not experience, gnata agyatam. Sometimes you have known, sometimes you haven't known. That knowing and not knowing by this chittam is also always known by this individual self. So Maharshi is saying there is another faculties beyond this chittam that also we need to understand. Na tat swabhasam drashyatvat. So that is why this chittam is also called drashyam and not called as a drashta, because chittam is also changing. So property of drashyam is always changing. It's not fixed. So now Maharshi is giving some decision, concluding that this chittam that we have focused all the time from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, this is also part of drashyam. Now I'm going to tell real things. So that is higher level of philosophy, higher level of darshana, Maharshi is explaining in chapter number 4. Because people are going to argue, when you are say yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha, chittam is also drashyam. So why you are focusing on drashyam, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, when this everything is mithya, whole Jagat is mithya, whole nature is mithya, then your chittam is also mithya. Why you are wasting your time? Why you are doing meditation? Why you are doing this asana? Vedanti philosophic people is always going to tell you this. They are just sitting in Brahman, Brahma Satya, all Jagat mithya. So chittam is also mithya. So why you are wasting your time doing yama, niyama, asana? So that is why before it was required, because we need to purify, then and then we can see that this is also changing. But when at the first time we are closing the door, we cannot move inward. So that is why at first people are saying, okay, this is also real. This is the only truth, because we know our mind. So that is why I said, okay, this is ultimate reality. If you are more on lower level, said, okay, nothing is real, only your body is real. Now only focus, only experience all sensation for your body. When you are going to focus your body, and slowly, 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 you are going to realize this body and observer of this body is different. Then you are asking, who is this observer of this body? And say, this is prana, prana, energy, energy. So now you are moved, okay, now sit on this energy level and observe this energy. This is energy is now ultimate satyam, ultimate. That way, step by step, Maharshi is taking you to ultimate. Vedanti philosophy is for very highly intellectual person. They can have lots of vairagya, they have lots of tapas. They can directly say, okay, everything is mithya and now let's sit on this Brahman, Shravan Manana Nidhyasana. But people like us, normal people, you need very step by step process. So now at the ultimate stage, fourth chapter, Maharshi is saying this chittam that we have tried our whole life is also not real. It also part of Prakriti. Now let's go more beyond. Ek samaye chobhayanavadharanam. Now Maharshi is giving more detail that property of this chittam न एक समय च उभय अनवधारणम. So at one moment you cannot be two, or you cannot experience two things one at a time. So now Maharshi is adding one more element that is called samaya. Samaya, and very smaller amount of samaya, that is called a kshana. So that fraction of second, you can either focus on this or either focus on others. When we are saying, okay, we are doing multitasking, that it's looking at some higher way of minutes or hours. You can say, okay, in 1 hour, I have done these 4-5 things. Or in these 5 minutes, I have sent email, I have also watched television, I have also drank tea. At higher or very gross level of timing, you can think you are doing multitasking. But when you are going more subtler of time, and when very fraction of second, 0, 1, 0, 1, kshan, at that moment by moment, you cannot do multitasking. Your chittam can only focus on one. So same thing when we are going into computer programming, when we are going into operating system, that we are said, okay, there are lots of windows, there are lots of things and multi process and multi programs I can able to run on this single computer, multi-threading options. But when you are going more deeper, then we are realizing that at fraction of second, at that kshan, only one thing is always, it's like shifting the consciousness. It's going there and then coming back. Resources is going there and then again going there. So same way our mind, our chittam programming, because now we are going into present moment awareness. So now this moment, this kshan we need to understand, and we need to cross the boundary of this kala, kshana. Then and then we are going into another universe, samadhi, kaivalya universe. So giving property, understanding property of this chittam. You cannot, or this chittam cannot do multitasking. चित्तांतरदृश्ये बुद्धि प्रति प्रसंगः स्मृति संकरश्च. So now there are another arguments are coming, and this is what is given all answer for that counter argument. Say if this chittam, chittantar, that one chitta or one mind, and that will be observed by some another mind. Now before we are saying there will be some parallel minds. Said, okay, there are multiple minds, there will be one mind, and then it will be distributed into parallel mind, and then all this parallel mind will do some task on parallelly, and we said, okay, all multitasking is happening. So that counter arguments is already been vanished, but now is saying sequential. So one chittam is create another chittam, and then another chittam will create another chittam. So one chittam is observed, another chittam A will observe chittam B is observe chittam C is going to observe chittam D. So this sequential way, this information or knowledge or gnanam is going to be received. Is it possible of chittantara drashya? Then Maharshi is saying, this is anavastha, ati prasanga dosha. What will be cause of all causes? When you are said, okay, this is root of this root, and this root one, R1 is root of R2, R2 is root of R3. Then when you are going more and more deeper, what will be root of all the roots? Then there will be, nothing will be you can grasp. So you need to stop somewhere. And when there will be multiple chitta, what is going to happen with this memory? That is also going in parable. One chittam, one memory bank, another chittam, another memory bank, another chittam, another memory. How this process, how they are transforming that informations. Then will be lack of information, because everything has to be registered to previous chittam. So that is also is not possible. That okay, this is the Brahman, and then Brahman has created some another version of itself. It's a Ishwariya Tattva. Then Ishwariya has created another Chittam, that is a Manushya Chittam, and Manushya Chittam is created someone else, and someone else created something else, and then we are part of some higher dimension of Chitta. That also we are seeing some science fictions movie that someone is controlling our, because there will be chittam is different. We are part of your inherited chittam. So Maharshi is saying this is also not possible and this is not true. So these are not parallel or not sequential chittam. Whole creation of chittam, whole creations of Jivatma, Maharshi is explaining here step by step and proving his point of concept. Chite raprati sankramaya pattau swabuddhi samvedanam. Now chite he apratisankramayaha. Chite means unchanging nature of that universal consciousness, Jivatma, Purusha. Apratisankramaya. This chitta, that universal chittam, Jivatma or Purusha, is not going to be attached, never cause of anything, never creator of anything, is always unattached, detached with external world. So there will be no connection between these two, because property of Jivatma is saying it's always unattached. There will be no communication channel. So it's okay, there will be Brahman, and then from Brahman there will be something else. So then there is a link between these two. Then this input has to be given to higher order. This higher order has to given this input to its higher level. But there will be no connection with that universal self and this all individual self. It's not like some boss is sitting in office and all employees and is having all reporting from day by day or the sequential basis. There will be no connection. Boss is don't care what you are working or not, you are coming to office or not. Even though he's a creator of everything, he or she is not affected with this, all this tantram, all these things that is happening. because it's in Paravairagya sthiti. So this Purusha or this boss don't know how many employees he or she has, they are working or not, what is happening with them, because there is no connection. Chitehe is always unaffected. That is property of drashta. Drishi matraha shuddhopi pratyayanupashyah. This drashta, this purusha, this ishvara don't care anything. There will be no connections at all. Nirguna, nirakara. Always, if they want to see or experience something, drashta, drishi, matraha, shuddhapi, pratyayanupashya, some higher faculty, this universal consciousness or mahat tattva, that if they can connect with this mahat tattva, universal intelligent, then and then this Purusha can know something, this Ishvara can know something. But this connecting or not connecting is also up to Purusha, not up to Prakriti. If he or she required, okay, I want to take Avtara, I want to connect what is happening in this company, then he or she can enter in this world. Otherwise, he's sitting in Nirguna Nirakara, unmanifested form. Chitehe, property of Purusha. Drashta drashyoparaktam chittam sarvartham drishta and drashya. Drishta and drashya. Uparaktam chittam sarve artham. When this drashta and seer and this scene, drashyam, when they are going to connect with each other, sanyogaha, then and then realization is going to happen. This is what bhoga or apavarga. These are main two faculty prakriti or drashyam has to do. When there will be connection, sanyogaha, you are living in some other country, your friend is living in some other country, both are living happily. Some anomalous, some situation is going to be happen, some cause will be there, and then you are also traveling in that area at same time, at same space, and he or she is also traveling, and you are both are there seeing each other, and then both will have that smruti vritti. You can able to identify each other. When you identify with each other, you want to talk with each other, both will have that same feeling, both will have that same smruti, everything is going to be same. That is called sanyoga. Then this communication is going to happen. So there are so many parameters, all these parameters that give this fluid, this sanjoga, this coincidence is called sanyoga. So to able to know something, to able to do something, able to experience something, bhog or apavar, you require drashta, drashya and sanyoga. So Maharshi is always putting his philosophy again and again. These three things always required. Both will be there. They are seeing each other, but there will be no sanyoga. There, both are at same level. They are seeing each other, but that consciousness is somewhere else. So someone is thinking something else. Even though in present condition, you cannot able to have that knowledge. That vastu is there, your God is there, your consciousness is there, drashta is always there in front of you. But that coincidence is not happening. That required conditions are not going to meet. then that is why you enable to see or able to communicate, because you don't have that smriti vritti. You don't know now how to, because before you are in kids and you don't know how he or she looks like after 20 years, 50 years, 60 years. You cannot able to recognize this is my friend, this is my colleague, or this is my neighbor. Or if you're able to recognize, another person is not going to recognize, then what is, then also sanyog is not going to be happen. So this, all this yoga, all this sadhana, all this spiritual practice that we are doing is to create this sanyoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So drashta, drishyam, and sanyoga. Drishta drashyo paraktam chittam sarvartham. Tad sankheva vasanabhi chitramapi parartham sanhatyakaritvat. Same thing, even after being imprinted upon by this countless, this tendency, tad asankhyeya vasana vichitram api parartha sanhatyakaritat. This chittam has lots of different tendency, lots of sanskara, lots of other variables are there. So how this jivatma is able to communicate, or this chittam can able to communicate with jivatma, because we have lots of time gaps. You are meeting with after 15 years, 20 years, how he or she is going to recognize you? So this jivatma that has this type of property, and this chittam also has that very solid memory. When this type of personality, this jivatma is going to seen by you, experienced by you, all other memory, all time, all other vidya, avidya, intelligence, everything is going to this value. It's like andhakara is all ignorance when there is single point of light, because it's jivatma. This type of personality you cannot able to forget. That type of solid personalities, that once glimpse when you are saying, okay, this is what, this is my friend, even after 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, because you are so much close with that friend, like you are that friend. So you cannot forget yourself, because you have that so much solid memory. So when this sanghata, this sanyoga is going to be catch you, that Paramatma, Ishvara, Jivatma is going to be reflected or seen for fraction of second, even though your mirror is so much dirty, so much other tendency, that sanghata can able to manifest, able to recognize by this chitta. That is difficult at the same time. That is why Maharshi has given chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, Yama, Niyama. Clean your reflection, clean your mirror, clean your chittam. So less and less tendency, and then more and more intention of recognizing that God quantity, super consciousness, always remembering that Daivi Sampata, divine nature of God. So when he or she will become as a sanyoga, you can able to recognize that the sankheva vasanabhis chitramapi parartham samhatya karitat. So let's have till here. I think till there are 10 sutras there, so maybe we can take it next weekend.